Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm Andy Murray from WhatCulture, and coming up today, I'm going to tell you all about WWE and their curious editing when it comes to Roman Reigns. Going to tell you why AJ Styles is back in WWE earlier than expected, and I've also got a couple of big announcements for the next episodes of Raw and SmackDown.
Plus, a former champion of WWE has announced he may never wrestle again. Matt Riddle has spoken out on reports of backstage heat, and the plans for Apollo Crews have been revealed. This is the news.
Right, let's talk about Roman Reigns. This is really weird. What on earth is going on here, right? So a couple of weeks ago, it's reported that Vince McMahon personally has issued an edict in WWE banning people from even mentioning the guy's name after, of course, he pulled out of WWE programming as an immunocompromised person before WrestleMania 36. Last night, things got even weirder. WWE aired a segment. It was like the countdown, the top 10 moments or whatever from Money in the Bank, top cash-ins, all that stuff. Number one, understandably, was Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 31. Awesome moment. And an awesome match, in fact, between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar before that. You'd think that Roman Reigns would feature in this footage. He was a pretty integral part of that whole thing going down. No, he did not. The whole thing was cut in such a way that Roman was omitted completely. It was really awkward, really clunky, really hashed together. It was almost like Brock Lesnar was just bouncing around the ring on his own before Seth Rollins came down and decided to cash in. I have no idea why on earth they are doing this. It seems really ridiculous. It seems incredibly petty. If this is some kind of I took his ball and went home pal thing, then it's one of the most messed up things they've done all year, given that this guy is a two-time leukemia survivor working through a global health crisis. Now, it should be mentioned that there is an upcoming special on Roman Reigns on Fox, but I don't think that's really as significant as chopping the guy out of your programming, airing this thing on Fox that's going to draw, what, 50,000 viewers or whatever. This is strange. I cannot make head nor tail of it. Why would you cut Roman Reigns out of your programming, Adam Wilborn?
Yeah, this is getting weird now. When I first heard the announcement that Roman Reigns had not been banned, I should say, but just been removed from mentions in WWE, I was shocked, and then I thought about it for a few seconds and thought, oh, you know what, actually that makes sense, because there's no point teasing someone or talking about someone who physically cannot return. It's not like teasing someone's return from injury when you have a vague idea of a date when they can come back, or hyping up a major return or anything like that. They don't know when he's going to be back, and it would feel like the elephant in the room, considering how much he's been pushed over the last few years, of course, and what a fairy tale story his comeback was, to not have him there. So I thought, you know what, it might make sense to just say, just for argument's sake, let's just not mention him until we officially know when he's coming back. But now the fact they are going back and removing him from WWE history is getting, as you said, strange. Because
weird.
I feel bloody sorry for some of the people in the WWE production department. They've had all on over the last few weeks and months editing out any footage of Matt Hardy when talking about Jeff Hardy's return and redemption and what have you. I saw a clip of that, and it's just like a real close-up of Jeff Hardy when they returned at WrestleMania. It's like, hey, remember when just Jeff Hardy came back at WrestleMania? So that would have been hard enough. But now you can't help but escape the feeling, yes, as you said, that they are feeling like, well, Roman sort of left us in the lurch, so he doesn't exist anymore. I even saw someone, I do apologise, I've forgotten who tweeted this to us, tweeting us saying that they've stopped showing the opening package of SmackDown, because of course that concludes with Roman Reigns punching the floor.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's happening or why it's happening. Initially makes sense, because you don't want to just hype up someone who cannot be there, but now it feels like an outright punishment for Roman.
It's very strange. I certainly hope it's not related to his decision not to come to tapings. But hey, man, the company should have known that he shouldn't have been in those tapings and should have sent him home before he took it into his own hands anyway. It's a confusing, weird, nonsensical situation, and I hope it resolves itself.
And just to clarify here, yet again, this is not Roman Reigns' fault. This isn't him just going, you know what, I don't really fancy it in any way to get out of work's good for me. He is immunocompromised. He is one of the people who, if he contracts this awful illness that is, you know, decimating the world, could really legitimately die. Yeah. So him not being there is the safest option for everyone, and arguably the best decision for the business as well, because not only would they potentially, you know, even if he does survive it and he's ill for a lot, you know, it has an effect on his health, they would lose him indefinitely. But if the worst should happen, that's on WWE. They have not made any statement other than, if you don't want to come in, you don't have to come in. So we'll keep you posted on this, because it's a real surreal situation. And if this is what they're doing to Roman Reigns, God help Sami Zayn, who apparently has just taken them up on this offer of, not coming to work if they don't want to risk their lives or the lives of family members and people that they associate with. Weird stuff. Right, let's talk a little bit about Lio Rush, one of the sad number of people who were, of course, released on Black Wednesday a few weeks ago. We're a huge fan of him here at WhatCulture. I think he's so talented. Of course, former Cruiserweight champion. He brought some prestige back to that title. But he subsequently tweeted last night, "I legitimately might not ever wrestle again." He's obviously had some other projects, musical stuff outside of wrestling that he's been working on, even whilst he was still with WWE. But this is a worrying sign, Andy Murray.
This sucks. It really sucks. Lio Rush is a tremendous performer, I think. Like, I loved him as a wrestler. Obviously, the Cruiserweight run last year, brief as it was incredible. The match with Angel Garza was, I think, one of the best, maybe the best TV match of the year, unless there's any I'm forgetting. Maybe Kenny Omega and Joey Janela, but whatever. I thought he was great as Bobby Lashley's manager as well. I think he's been really good in any role he's ever done. However, at the same time, 25 years old. He's been putting increased time and effort into making music, so that could be a potential career avenue for him. I believe he's got another new single out in just a few days, in fact. So good for him. He's clearly doing big things elsewhere. It would be a real shame to see someone that talented move away from the business.
Yeah, as you said there, physically talented and talented on the stick as well. Best friend of the channel, Shad Gaspard, has tweeted him, reaching out to him, saying that he's experienced something like this before and his love for the business will return and he'll ascend to even higher heights. I genuinely think WWE could re-sign Lio Rush in a year or two, because I think he's one of those talents you simply cannot ignore. Yes, he can piss people off by no-selling ladder bump spots and what have you, and he can rile people up backstage. But I'd argue in that Cruiserweight division, there are not many better than him, and certainly he's one of the best on the mic.
Yeah, I hope whatever he does next, he's happy and he gets paid. You know, happiness is obviously a little bit more important, but both would be nice. The man's got a family. Speaking of having families, AJ Styles, he has one. He was back
Hang on, wait a second. Are you talking about Wendy Styles?
I am indeed, sir.
Yes.
I am indeed. And various other members of the AJ community. He was back on Raw last night, entered the gauntlet match, won the gauntlet match, kind of picked the bones of Humberto Carrillo. He's in Money of the Bank now. He beat Humberto up after the match. He wasn't supposed to be back this early, brothers and sisters. WWE, according to Dave Meltzer, were going to keep AJ off television for a longer period of time in order to sell the Boneyard match and the effects of the Boneyard match, but ultimately decided to bring him back on last night's show, which was advertised ahead of time, because they want to try and help the ratings a little bit. Not a whole lot to pick apart here. Ratings are in the skids at the moment, but I think that it's going to take more than like a returning face or two. I think you're not going to see a significant upturn in ratings until we get out of this empty arena era.
Yeah, exactly. It is nice to have AJ Styles back. It was weird that he just sort of went, yep, that's fine now, Boneyard match. It doesn't matter. Didn't even have any dirt or anything on his shoulder he could brush off. But as you said, there he was.
Jay-Z.
Yeah. Representing the grave community. He was back. He's the right person, in my opinion, to be dropped into that Money in the Bank ladder match. Should he win it? I think that's a question for another time. I think it might be more exciting to see someone like an Aleister Black win it, but it's probably going to be King Corbin, if we're honest. And this is no doubt something we'll debate again. Jesus Christ, Zelina Vega's stable is crap at winning matches. My money was on Titus O'Neil, but yeah, that hope lasted all of about 30 seconds last night.
Yeah, he's gone, brother.
Good. And nice to see Shelton Benjamin back again, though, eh? Right, let's talk a little bit about Matt Riddle. He had a recent interview with Gary Cassidy, and he was talking about rumours and speculation, accusations, I should say, of backstage heat. It's something that has swirled around him following his time in WWE, because he just can't help himself, especially when it comes to tweeting out things. Basically, in summary, when he was asked about it, he thinks people should stop taking things so seriously. He said, I'll tell you this, do I have heat with WWE or NXT or the people that run the show? No. Do I have heat with some people who think I'm disrespectful at times because they don't understand how this business works? Yes. Do people take things too seriously? Yes. I'm 100, I don't think there's a time that I ever haven't been, but I am 100% Team Riddle for this. Yes, he does stuff that it will rile people up online, but I don't think he ever oversteps the mark or ever does stuff that, for me, would annoy the regular WWE fan. We all know that the business has changed, especially over the last few years and certainly on social media, and I, for one, get a kick out of him tweeting things like, "What a knee bar, bro."
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's fun. He gets people talking, he gets people riled up. This is the most Matt Riddle response of all time as well, isn't it? Just stop taking everything so seriously, bro. It's good stuff, and a nod as well to Gary Cassidy, who does some tremendous work with these interviews. Does a bit of writing for our site as well, so shouts to him, Conscious Gary on Twitter. Yeah, man, and I just hope that these long-term things don't come back to bite Riddle eventually, because he's such a talented and fun and enjoyable guy. But, he seems to have a pretty good attitude about the whole thing.
Michael Sidgwick has said this before, and I completely agree with him on this. If WWE fail to push Matt Riddle correctly, if they don't make him world champion, for example, give up on wrestling, because he's perfect.
Yeah, just stop wrestling. Forever. Speaking of wrestling, these segues are rubbish. Next week's TV. So we got some announcement this week's as well. This coming episode of SmackDown, we are getting Mandy Rose versus Sonia Deville one-on-one for the first time since they were trading wins and losses on the Largo loop back in NXT. This was announced during last night's Raw. It comes following weeks of build. Great stuff from Sonia in particular, who's been tremendous as the heel in this rivalry since they stopped being best friends, and the extension of the feud with Dolph and Otis and the romance and all this stuff. It's been a really well-told story, and I'm looking forward to seeing the match. On next week's Raw as well, a couple of big announcements. We're getting Edge and Randy Orton. They're coming back. This was announced during last night's Raw as well. Interesting stuff there. They were both packaged in the same video advertising the returns. Maybe they'll be linked together again when they come back. Who knows? Either way, big names coming back. Stuff to look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued more than anything to see what they do with Edge and Randy Orton. What are they going to do? Just, it's water under the bridge. Right, RKO are back. We're going to smash up the tag team division now. But I've got to give props. I'm not sure if we've really mentioned this enough to how good Sonya Deville has been on Friday Night SmackDown since splitting with Mandy Rose. Her promos have been excellent. Mandy Rose continually involved in some of the biggest storylines on Friday nights. I absolutely adore it. And hope for big things to come. And hope the ratings can pick up, because they are, in theory at least, booking some good things, and that's the highest praise I can give. Speaking of which, let's talk about Apollo Crews and the plans for him going forward. Of course, he's been taken out in the Money in the Bank ladder match due to a kayfabe injury last week on Monday Night Raw. Speculation is rife as to what is going to happen with him when he returns, and you can probably guess where this is going. It could well be a heel turn for Apollo Crews when he comes back. This is according to WrestlingNews.co's Paul Davis. Basically, the promotion have been trying to convince Vince McMahon to try and let them do more with Crews. We've always known how physically talented he is. He just obviously has had an issue with him because he's so small. Anyway, this is the reason why he's been appearing on TV so much recently, and now one of Paul Davis's sources is claiming that Apollo will soon turn heel, linking him into a potential stable with MVP's management. It was also rumoured to feature the likes of the two Fly Crew, Cedric Alexander and Ricochet, who of course lost last night to MVP's new team of Brendan Vink and Shane Thorne. The heel turn was initially planned to be on Friday Night SmackDown, with Apollo turning on Chad Gable. Now he's been drafted to Raw. That's what's going to be happening there, and I think that's probably the best thing for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine happy, smiley Apollo Crews as a heel, but hey man, if it comes off well, if he has the right mouthpiece, I think it could be a better thing, certainly, because he's not done a whole lot on the main roster, and that's not necessarily his fault. He's not the best talker, he's not the biggest personality on the screen, but, he's a talented guy, very good athlete, very good wrestler. I would like to see him get a chance just to see if he can fly, because you don't know what you can do with these people until you put them in that spot and see how they do. So he also seems like a really good dude outside of the ring and away from all this as well, and you want to see people like that succeed. So let's see what happens.
Favourite thing that he did on the main roster?
What's that?
What's yours?
Oh, what's mine? I have no idea. Titus Worldwide. There you go.
Thank you very much. And Titus Worldwide! did! I genuinely can't think of anything else that he did aside from that. Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE, of course, if you want to get in touch with us. Matt Ryan starts us off looking ahead to Money in the Bank, and after that, Matt says, after supposedly McIntyre defeats Rollins at Money in the Bank, which better bloody happen, would someone like AJ Styles be the next to feud with him after returning in the Gauntlet match? Of course, he's going to be in Money in the Bank, but yeah, maybe he doesn't grab the briefcase, he just goes straight into a World Championship feud. What do you think?
Yeah, I could absolutely see them doing that. The Gauntlet is a nice kind of like propulsion thing towards that. I think AJ might now be the favourite for the Money in the Bank ladder match, though. But yeah, I mean, he's the standout choice if he doesn't win that. Or even if he does win that, you know, just feud around the briefcase somehow. That'd be cool.
It's just going to lead to more and more speculation as these next days go on, as we build to Sunday, that who's going off the roof, and is it going to be AJ Styles, who now feels invincible after surviving a buried alive match, basically? He goes for a phenomenal forearm off the roof. Or a Styles clash, who knows? Second question today comes from Casso, aka @PapiBanderas on Twitter, who says, do you think that when the global situation lets up, that the indie promotions should join together to make a streaming service that will act like a Hulu of wrestling to be able to stream these wrestling shows and bring back awareness of these promotions?
It already exists. You know, there's already a streaming service with literally every major indie you can think of. I'm talking Beyond, I'm talking GCW, talking ICW New York, IndependentWrestling.tv, it's right there. I believe it's $9.99 a month. It's a tremendous service. It has a massive library. They publish shows all the time. Every big name indie you can think of is there. Now, caveat, Evolve isn't an indie. Evolve's in WWE's pocket. Progress, same. ICW over here in the UK, all the same. These aren't independent promotions anymore. Ring of Honor, not an indie. Impact, not an indie. New Japan, not an indie. Every American major indie you can think of is already on there, brother. It is a tremendous service. IndependentWrestling.tv. They've already been doing some cool stuff. Black Label Pro, another great promotion on there. Beyond. Check them out, man. If you want to support the indies through this really difficult time, that's one of the best things you can do. And I'm sure they will have some big things planned for when this all goes back to normal. But it already exists.
Exactly. And if you want to watch some great wrestling on YouTube, Defiant Wrestling. I know we're biased, but WCPW, which became Defiant, honestly, I was there, worked there. I was lucky enough to spend some time with some phenomenally talented people who work there. There's some great matches for free up on YouTube that are well worth checking out. And I would say that whether or not it's related to us, even though it is. So yes, I'm a little bit biased, but genuinely, it's great. Anyway, final question today comes from the Exalted Bourbon Biscuit, aka @YeetsDelete. @EatYeetsDelete on Twitter, who, this is just a more casual question for you, Andy, says, will there be tons of reunion content after lockdown ends? The first hugs, the first biscuits ploughed through, the first laughs, and the first pranks.
I think we'll be live streaming the entire first week back. We won't be doing that, obviously. But yeah, man, there'll be something. There'll be something fun. Not to spoil anything that we might have planned. We don't have anything planned so far. But, you know, we'll come up with something, man. Maybe we could live stream a biscuit meeting and take a Q&A and stuff. That might be fun.
Exactly. I think, yeah, we are going to try and really get the most out of being back together, because it's one of those things that you didn't appreciate it until it was gone. And yeah, we were lucky enough to start organising stuff, annoyingly, with Simon Miller, who of course doesn't live up north with the rest of us where WhatCulture is. He came up for doing a bit of filming, and we did it and went, oh, this is great, this worked really well. He enjoyed it, we enjoyed it. He doesn't hate us as much anymore. I'm joking, of course, but it was so annoying because we were like, this is great, let's do this again, yeah. And then all this happened. So hopefully we'll try and get Miller with us on a lot more stuff, because I know you guys wonder why we never do stuff together. It's just because he's down south, basically. But yes, we might do a thing where we all live stream us just eating a packet of biscuits each, probably. Yeah. Hey, Andy, if I was a packet of biscuits, could you know what I'd be?
What would that, mate?
A Will Bourbon.
Good. Yep.
Let's move on to today's and finally. And you know what? Just to get this out of the way, Andy, because every day for the last 2 or 3 days, I load up my Twitter, I load up WhatCulture's Twitter, and it's just people continuously just flooding our timeline. I get it. There's a new Twitter account that everyone needs to follow. It's called Rick Rude Getting Atomic Drops. It's at Rick Rude Sells. It's spectacular. We probably can't show it, I'm not sure, because of, you know, the fact it's actual footage from many different promotions that Rick Rude worked for over his legendary career. But you've no doubt seen this, Andy. It's spectacular.
Yes, it's the best new thing on Twitter, man. Probably the best thing of the year on Twitter so far. I love it. Rick Rude was a joy of a performer, and watching him sell these atomic drops is just chef's kiss.
Honestly, it's spectacular. I've got it open here to remind me to talk about it. And if you see me just glancing to the side, it's because he keeps going on his tiptoes whilst Ricky the Dragon Steamboat does his impression of him. Go and check it out. It's called Rick Rude Getting Atomic Drops. It's at Rick Rude Sells on Twitter. And it'll just brighten up your day. That's all I can say. Right, let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Dadley Boys reviewing Monday Night Raw. That should be fun. A little bit later on today. And then live, 4 p.m, live here on YouTube, 4 p.m, BST. Myself, Adam Cleary and Adam Nicholas answering all the WWE questions that you want answered. If you want to send some in advance, at WhatCulture WWE on Twitter. Whilst you're there, follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for history. You can't rewrite it, Vince McMahon.
Yeah, you can follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, as I said. But for now, my thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.